Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Becomes an Online Streamer in UA High with Mask on Movie. Before we start, please go support Luis on 2234V for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. A boy who always wears a mask without letting anyone see his face, makes streams, but what would happen if one quiet day at his school in his native country Chile they told him that he would be sent to a school in Japan called UA to the B course of the heroes class? How would our favorite third world affair in a first world country, and without knowing anything about Japanese? The exchange student. It was a quiet day in a very quiet city. We can see a painted classroom with the desks somewhat finished, and the students talking among themselves. Izuku, hey, it's shaking, he said calmly. Juan, calm down dude, it's normal, he said while sipping his soda. Carlos, so what are we going to do today? I'll add some bucking chanka, he said calmly. Izuku, I don't know, doubt toyed bored, he said this. Daniel, yeah, well, he said laughing. Carlos, dude, you have a bucking gamer PC, you're famous. The motherbuckers are dying for you even though you have a mask, dude, he said, giving Izuku a slap. But no one could continue as they saw the director come and they quickly sat down. Some leaned back on their desks so the director would think they were calm. Director, well, young people, as you know, the great school of Japan UA took into account this country, and a student will go there during these 3 years. He will go to the hero course 1B. Remember that there it starts earlier, so it's already half a year. So after so much we decided that the one who will go will be Izuku Midoriya, she said, pointing at our masked man. Izuku, yeah dude, I already wanted to see that Chinese chick Chikona with katana on the subway, dude, he said happily. Director, well, your parents are already outside with your suitcase. Say goodbye to your friends because they are leaving for the airport right now, she said. She is waiting for Izuku at the door. Izuku, you bucking faggot, I'll send you stuff. I wanted faggots, he said as he left the room. Guys, by concat to Merculio, he said, these saying goodbye to him. Girls, Izuku, they said, you're sad. Then Izuku and the principal got off. He saw how his parents got into the car, annoyed, and put away his gaming PC, component by component. He also saw that he was carrying everything from his room in his suitcases. Since at UA the bedrooms are big enough for him to have his setup properly, then he and his parents and the principal went to the airport. Izuku took down his suitcases and checked his passport. He now had to get on the plane. Director, you've been in my institution since you were little. I saw you grew up. I became famous. Whatever you do, don't give up on your dream. Izuku Dylantero, he said smiling. Izuku, I'm going to cry, you bucking idiot, he said, wiping his eyes. Director, your plan is about to leave go. Fulfill your dream, she said smiling. Then Izuku said goodbye to his parents and the director and went to the plane. He boarded it. He was already seated when he remembered something. Izuku, damn, I don't know Japanese, he said, upset, but he looked at the wall and showed his phone. But I don't care, you know why? Doubt because I use translator you, he said, showing his phone to nothing. English? Who are you talking to, man? He said, confused. Izuku, shut up, you bucking faggot, who's paying me so much, he said, this one talking about translator you. After that Izuku began to relax since the trip would take approximately 24 hours. Then he just fell asleep thinking about what he could do in Japan. In another place. Kendo, hey guys, did you hear that the exchange student is coming tomorrow? He said smiling. Monoma, oh yeah, and where does it come from? He said confused. Kendo, you say you come from Chile? She said confused. Tetsu, oh, if it's Chile it must be from Mexico, he said with a smile. Yui, will you speak our language? The girl said seriously. Ibara, I don't know, I hope he's religious, she said with a tender smile. Reiko, well, we just have to wait for it, she said this so that everyone would nod. With Izuku. Izuku, dude, I'm already bored. Hitch, how long have we been together? He said, looking at the Spaniard at his side. English, we haven't taken off, kid, said this guy, fed up with the green-haired guy's complaints. Izuku, don't get angry, Mirai-kan, he said laughing. Holy shit, this guy said. Izuku, don't talk vulgarity, dude, oh sorry, he said, realizing what he said. And so 12 hours of the trip passed. Izuku didn't want to sleep, and in the end he ended up making friends with the Spaniard, They played a switch that the Spaniard carried with him the entire trip until they reached the stopover in Spain where the Spaniard was staying. Izuku, bye dude, it was great meeting you, dude, he said happily. Rubius, me too, you also stream, we play live kid, he said before leaving. Izuku, ah, you bucking faggot, he said in a sigh, watching the boy with the dyed hair leave. Well, let's eat something and go, he said, looking for a restaurant. And so Izuku found a McDonald's where he ate the 4 hours he had left until the plane took off. Then he went to his seat again, and the plane quickly took off. Izuku, bored of not having the Spaniard at his side, saw his phone and opened his Twitch channel. Now it turns out that a guy named Rubius is following him. Izuku, bucking faggot that Spaniard, he said happily. And so the journey went on peacefully until he was finally able to fall asleep. 10 hours later. Stewardess, sir, get up, we're here, she said, looking at the boy. Izuku, oh yes miss, thank you, he said, taking his luggage from above to leave the plane. When he left, he saw a man who looked like a vagabond and a very emaciated man who had a sign with his name on it. He had already lost his fear of things like that since they kidnapped him about 3 times a month. He just approached the 2 men. He took out his phone and changed Spanish to Japanese. Izuku, hello bucking faggots, hello gentlemen. Good morning, said the translator. Aizawa took the green-haired boy's phone and typed. Aizawa, come with us, we come from the UA. My name is Aizawa Shoda and I am the teacher of the other class. You will go in 1 become Konkatumare. We come from the UA. I am Aizawa Shoda and I am the teacher of the other section, said the translator, so that the green-haired boy agreed and followed the 2 gentlemen. Then he saw how UA got in without fear and left with the 2 men in a country that was not even his and that he did not know. The same as every day. After a while they arrived at the UA. Izuku was surprised that they didn't kidnap him. Izuku, I didn't expect that, doubt, he said, surprised. So Izuku first had to go to the principal's office, but since he wasn't there later they would give him his papers. He just walked through the halls. From the door the students looked at him confused that he was wearing a mask, and he didn't care less, and just greeted them. He arrived until he found a large door that said 1B. Izuku, don't hesitate, my Tula is bigger, he said while opening the door. The moment he opened the door, all the students fell silent upon seeing the boy. He had his uniform somewhat tight, which highlighted his muscles, which attracted the girls' attention, but what was most confusing was his mask. But they were confused when they saw how excited he got upon seeing the classroom. Izuku, dude, the desks are full, Konchazamare no hic drawn, they're not there, there are giant windows, dude, is this a luxurious room? He said, surprised. Kendo at that moment just approached Izuku. Kendo, hey kid, my name is Itsuka Kendo, nice to meet you. Izuku doesn't pay attention to him. Hey kid, I'm talking to you, she said, somewhat irritated, but sees how Izuku continues looking at the window. Reiko, grade A show off, she said, somewhat annoyed. But at that moment Kendo angrily touched his shoulder. This scared Izuku. Izuku, what happened? Po, you asshole, what did you want, you bucking faggot, he said, scared, holding his chest. Kendo, why didn't you answer me? She said angrily. Izuku, damn, I don't understand you. Let's see, I didn't speak Japanese, he said, this one trying to speak English. Oh, what? They said confusedly. But Izuku Ardo just took out his phone. Izuku, sorry, I don't speak Japanese, excuse me, miss, I don't speak Japanese. At that moment the whole room understood. They didn't pay attention because they didn't even know who they were talking to, but they relaxed a little knowing that he wasn't arrogant. Monoma was enough. At that moment Kendo just took the green-haired boy's phone. Kendo, I'm sorry, I thought you didn't want to listen to me. Nice to meet you, I'm Itsuka Kendo, forgive me. Hitch, I imagined you didn't want to talk. I'm Itsuka Kendo, said the translator. Izuku, no problem girl, so where do I sit? No problem miss, where is my seat? Said the translator. Kendo, oh, yes, she made a sign to the green-haired boy to follow her. This is Ibra Shiozaki, you will sit next to her, she said to the translator. This is Ibra Shiozaki, you will sit next to her, the translator said. The green-haired boy just agreed and sat down next to the green-haired girl. Izuku, thanks Itsuka, he said this in Japanese, downplaying it. Kendo blushed when she heard them call her by her name, but she, like everyone else, understood that the customs in another country might be different, so they let it go, but that didn't stop Kendo from blushing a little. Ibara, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Izuku, my name is Izuku Midoriya, the guy with the biggest back in Chile. Conchazamare, my name is Izuku Midoriya, the one with the biggest penis in Chile. Ibra blushed upon hearing that but let it pass, thinking it was a translation error. Ibra, why tell me, do you believe in God? Did I believe in Christ the King? She said, a little blushed by what she just heard. Izuku at that moment just stood up, crossed himself, and pointed to the sky. Izuku, long live Christ King Po Wion, he said, taking off a cross necklace that his grandmother had given him before leaving. At that moment Ibra got excited and blushed a little. Ibra, really? Me too. It's good to finally meet someone who shares my beliefs. Tell me, do you want to go to church on Sunday? She said, so excited that she forgot to speak through the translator. Izuku, a little nervous, just raised his thumb, making the girl who was jumping with excitement happy. Everyone, this is going to be difficult, they thought while watching Izuku. Izuku, dude, now that Chucha got involved, he said, worried, seeing the proximity of the green-haired girl. Bucking faggot. Classes had ended. Everyone arrived at the dormitories where they could rest from an exhausting day of classes. They sat down, some prepared food and others simply chatted. Everything would be quiet if it weren't for Izuku. Why did you go to the hardware store to buy bread with avocado? He said angrily on the phone. Carlos, that's what the guy from the hardware store told me. Were you there? Are you a spy? He said, also annoying. Izuku, dude, I'm not a spy. I'm just trying to get you out of jail. Dude, he said this almost crying in frustration. Everyone thought he had received sad news. Carlos, don't say anything else, just give me some bread with avocado, and you won't see me again, he said over the phone. Izuku, dude, I'm not selling bread with avocado, this annoying guy said. Carlos, maraca. Izuku, damn right. Izuku, buck you, bucking bucker. Carlos, because the buck I couldn't get out. Izuku, it's always the same thing with you, damn you. Carlos, I just want a bread with avocado, damn it. Izuku, I always have to get you out of jail, are you a moron? Carlos, your mother is a moron, what a hitch you are. Izuku, shut up you buckin' hitch, bye idiot, what a hitch, he said, hanging up. The green-haired boy began to breathe heavily in frustration. The boys were going to approach him to ask if he was okay. Izuku, holy shit, you idiot, he said angrily, watching Carlos call him again. The green-haired boy, already fed up, lit his hand on a big blue fire that ended up burning his cell phone, leaving everyone in shock. Izuku, bucking mother, my cell phone, WON, he said, crying for what he just did. Everyone broke out in a sweat but decided to eat instead. The green-haired boy accepted and just sat down. Ibra was about to thank him, but someone beat her to it. Izuku, God bless this food and these guys, good luck and thank you for the food, amen, he said, crossing himself and then starting to eat. Everyone looked calm and Ibra a little surprised. They knew that the green-haired boy had prayed because he crossed himself. They did the same as the green-haired boy and began to eat after that. They finished eating and began to chat a little, but they saw how the green-haired boy touched Setsuna's shoulder. Setsuna, oh yeah, what's wrong? She said, confused. Izuku, time to buck you, he said, pointing at his wrist. Then Setsuna, understanding, showed her phone to the green-haired boy. He opened his eyes wide when he saw what time it was. Izuku, I'll bucking stream you guy, he said as he left the table, but as he did so with so much force he ended up falling backwards. Not caring, he started to crawl on the floor until he stood up and ran straight to his room. Setsuna, what's wrong? She said, confused. All, no idea, they said the same. Monoma, what if we look it up on the internet? He said, laughing a little. Kendo, oh yeah, sure, let me look for him, like how they say. The guy with the mask. She said, laughing, I don't even know why we're looking for him. First of all, we don't know what the guy with the mask means, and second, it's not like he's someone famous. He appeared, she said, surprised. Everyone, what? They said, approaching Kendo. Kendo, if you look here it says Izuku Midoriya, better known as Dylantero, is a streamer, blogger and YouTuber originally from Chile. His face has never been revealed to the public because according to him he doesn't like fame. Have you 30 million followers? She said, surprised like everyone else. Kinoko, we have a famous partner, she said, surprised with her eyes wide open. Setsuna, And we didn't even realize she said this too. Kendo, look, it says here that he's live right now. He said he's opening his Twitch channel. Yui, 2 million people are watching it right now. That's a lot, she said, surprised. Izuku, let's see Conchasamer 5000 bits, and I show my face. That's it, he said, leaning back in his chair. Kendo, what did she say? She said, confused. Ibara, I don't know, he speaks in his native language, she said, laughing a little, but they fell silent when they heard a scream from the green-haired boy. Izuku, what? He said, surprised. This cry was heard both inside and outside the stream. Izuku, T Todoroki as Shoto, thanks for those 5000 bits, bro, he said, surprised. Everyone, Todoroki Shoto? They said, surprised. Monoma, isn't he one of the trash of Class 1A? He said, surprised, but they fell silent when they heard the green-haired boy. Izuku, well, dude, a promise is a promise, he said, taking off his glasses. Ibara, will he show his face? She said, surprised. Yui, I think so, she said the same. Izuku, I hate you, dude, but you spent your money on this. I can't do anything but pay you back, he said as he lifted the bag. At that moment everyone blushed when they saw the green-haired boy's face. He had the air of a bad boy, but at the same time innocent. Donation, dude, you're so handsome, idiot. All chat. Izuku just laughed at his chat's reaction. After that the stream went on normally. He closed it, put on his hood, and went down. Everyone looked at him a little surprised, and the blushing girls turned their faces away. The confused green-haired boy was going to ask them, but he saw a boy with 2 colored hair come through the door. Todoroki, what the buck does he study at the UA? He said, surprised. Izuku, damn, you dudes speak Chilean? He said excitedly. Todoroki, of course, dude, I speak Chilean and Japanese. Long live Chile, motherbucker, he said excitedly. Izuku, hooray, he said the same. Tetsu, you speak their language? He said, surprised. Todoroki, yes, I speak it, he said with a smile. Izuku, can you tell the idiot why he's looking at me so weird? He said something while looking at Todoroki. Todoroki, he says that because they look at him so strangely, he said seriously. Kendo, we just found out that he's a streamer, and we just saw his face, she said with a blush, remembering the green-haired boy's face. Todoroki, they saw your stream, Powion, and they saw your mask, he said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, for Chuka's sake, I don't see any reason to continue with this, he said, taking off his hood, making all the girls blush. Dude, tell them to stop looking at me like that, stalkers, he said, covering his body. Todoroki, he says not to see them as stalkers, he said, making the girls blush more. Kendo, no, it wasn't our intention, she said while bowing just like the other girls. Todoroki, Guy says he forgives them, he said while looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, as if you were sorry, you guy was raping me. I felt great by your gaze, he said this dramatically. Todoroki, he says that. Izuku, don't translate that, dude, he said, stopping. Todoroki asked that hitch with thorns who told me in the classroom, he said, referring to Ibara. Todoroki, he says, what did you say to him in the classroom? He said, looking at Ibara. Ibara, what if we could go to see church on Sunday, she said, blushing, trying not to look at the green-haired boy. Todoroki, dude, this is the one, Conchasamer, she wants to go to church, dude, he said this one in a playful tone. Izuku, damn, no way, tell her I'll go, but if the hitch guides me through the city afterwards, you idiot, he said. Todoroki, he says he will accompany you, but if after that you guide him through the city, he said, blushing at Ibara. Ibara, how a date? She said this is making the others jealous. Todoroki, he says yes, like a date, dude? He said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, yes, why not, he said calmly. Todoroki, he says yes, he said, blushing at Ibara. Ibara, it's okay, she said, blushing. Todoroki, he said yes, he said, looking at the green-haired boy. Hey, I have a guy who also speaks Chile, do you want to go buck yourself? He said, smiling. Izuku, well, dude, let's go, he said as he started running with Todoroki under everyone's gaze with a drop of sweat. Peace was never an option. The green-haired boy, Todoroki, and a boy with ashen hair were at the top of a building. Izuku, bucking faggot, you asshole, how did we get to this point? This annoying guy said. Bakugo, no idea, dude. At one point we were shooting at a duck at the fair and now we're chasing a criminal organization, dude, he said with fear. Todoroki, how the hell did we get to this point? He said surprised. Izuku, well. Flashback. We can see Todoroki was taking Izuku to his other friend who also spoke Chilean. Shoto, the guy is very explosive, Conchazamere, if you know what I mean? He said, looking at the green-haired guy. Izuku, damn dude, well, let's play, he said as he started running with Todoroki towards where Bakugo was. So they ran, Izuku following Shoto until they reached the dormitories of 1A. Todoroki, Bakugo, he said, calling the ashen-haired boy. Bakugo, what the buck do you want? Said this annoying guy. Todoroki, meet Dylantero, he said while showing Izuku. At that moment all the girls blushed and Bakugo was surprised. Bakugo, hey Concatamare, it's you, he said excitedly. I didn't know you were coming to Japan, you doubt, he said excitedly. Izuku, they chose me to study here, damn it, he said calmly. Todoroki, I tell the guy that we have to go out and do something, he said excitedly. Bakugo, let's go to the fair, he said happily. Izuku/Bakugo, come on, you bucking faggot, these happy people said. So the three of them headed towards the fair running in a very strange way. What just happened? These confused people said. Izuku, Todoroki and Bakugo were running towards the fair, but for some reason a little yellow duck had stopped on Izuku's head. When they saw it, they saw how it held onto Izuku's hair. Todoroki couldn't help it, and used his fire and ice to create black ice glasses. They put them on the duck, and the result was surprising. Izuku, Todoroki, Bakugo, admin duck. Izuku, it's the admin duck, he said, bumping fists with the duck. Bakugo, how cool is that guy, he said while looking at the duck. Todoroki, so much fascism should be illegal, dude, he said, high-fiving the duck. Duck, quack, he said this epically. Izuku, Todoroki, Bakugo, oh almighty admin, we are not worthy of seeing such a face, they said while bowing to the duck. Duck, quack. So the three of them headed to the fair. Then they spent some time playing, but some girls asked the green-haired boy for photos of his face. He, already tired, put his hood over his face and continued with the fair. When they saw how they were running out of money, they decided to try their luck in an aiming game. Shoot the duck. The first to pass was Izuku. He just aimed his gun, he breathed and shot. The shot hit the duck's head, bursting it. Everything was seen by the duck. Pato, are you threatening me? He said, getting off the green-haired boy and facing him. Izuku, what a joke. Can Conchazamare talk? He said surprised. Duck, that doesn't matter to you, you just called for war with my entire species and now you're going to pay for it, he said as several ducks with shotguns came out. Todoroki, I'm scared, this scared man said. Duck, but don't worry Mr. Todoroki, you created these glasses for me and you are the only one who will be saved from the new revelation of the ducks, he said while looking at Todoroki. Todoroki, what a Gwen service, he said raising a glass of lemonade, but I'm sorry Po dude, I'm with them, he said standing next to Izuku and Bakugo. Pato, apparently you have chosen the path of death, he said as his muscles grew to the point of being the height of Izuku and the completion of All Might. Bakugo, holy crap, dude, what did we do now? He scared said. Pato, they killed one of our brothers, now they will pay for it, he said, reloading his shotgun. Izuku, but it was made of cardboard, he said with fear. Duck, it wasn't made of cardboard, it just looked like cardboard, he said, moving forward. I'm raffling. Todoroki, the one who? He said confused. Pato, a bunch of hitches and you have the winning ticket, he said smiling. Izuku, let's go to hell we own, he said with fear to start running with Bakugo and Todoroki. End flashback. Todoroki, and so we got to this moment? He said while Izuku agreed. Bakugo, damn, you idiot, but who would imagine that the ducks are a criminal gang? He said, confused. Izuku, I already told you, dude, that so much pretense was illegal, damn it, this guy said. But then everyone saw how the ducks climbed the building in front of them. Duck, today will be the day when we ducks will reveal ourselves to the world, but join me, you who look the strongest, and you will dominate alongside the ducks, he said, looking at Izuku. Izuku, do you want to see my stupid face? He said mockingly. Duck, well I tried ducks. Izuku guys. Ducks/Izuku. Peace was never an option, they said with their fists clenched. Attack, they said, so that the ducks and the 3 hero students would launch themselves to attack. After a while the fight was over. The ducks had been defeated. The green-haired boy now had the lead duck on the ground and all the ducks unconscious. Duck fools, they altered the natural order of things, this annoying guy said. Izuku, we forgive your life, damn it, he said seriously, looking at the duck. Paro, really? He said happily. Izuku, no, he said with a smile. Bucking troll, he said, bending his neck, killing him. After the duck fell dead, Izuku got up from the ground and the 3 of them stared at each other. Bakugo, well after this shit we won't tell anyone, dude, he said while the other 2 agreed. So after that everyone went to their respective bedrooms trying to forget everything that happened that day. The green-haired boy, when he entered, saw all his classmates. They looked at him worried as he had a somewhat scared expression. Setsuna, somewhat worried, approached him but blushed and made the other girls jealous as he hugged her. Setsuna and Midoriya? What's wrong? She said, confused and blushing. Izuku, I don't understand you, damn it, but I killed a duck, I want a hug, he said, increasing the strength of the hug. So Setsuna for some reason understood what the green-haired boy wanted, so she just hugged him while caressing his hair. Setsuna, yeah, it's over, she said calmly. Do you feel better? She said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, I don't understand you, damn it, but just hug me for like 3 seconds, for buck's sake. Do you really think I'd feel good, dude? I killed a duck, after a war with them, dude, I feel great, he said angrily. Setsuna, I'll take that as a yes, she said, smiling just like everyone else when they saw that the green-haired boy was already better. Izuku, damn mom. Mission accomplished. We can see all the girls from Class B behind Setsuna while she was holding a camera. Kendo, are we really going to do this? She said with a blush. Ibara, I wouldn't want to disrespect our friend Midoriya, she said, also blushing. Setsuna, come on girls, trust me, in any case if he found out we wouldn't understand, so there's no problem, she said smiling. Reiko, but why are we doing this? She said with a slight blush. Setsuna, when she hugged me I could feel her body, believe me you will like it, she said this. Yui, if there is no other way, she said with a blush too. Then the girls stealthily began to climb the emergency stairs that led to the green-haired boy's room. When they arrived they hid and looked at their window. Yui, camera ready? She said seriously. Setsuna, ready now, we just have to wait for the moment when she goes to take a bath, she said smiling. Ibara, why am I doing this? And why do I want to do it? She said blushing. Kendo, well let's wait, she said with a blush too. Izuku, what the buck, dude, let's see, do the trolling dance with the minute of Kacha versus Sub in the background, sure, why not? He said smiling. Then the green-haired boy stood up from his chair and took off his shirt. All the women watching the stream blushed, as did the girls at his window. Reiko, quick, do it, she said blushing, so Setsuna started taking photos. Izuku, well here goes Kanchazamare. Imagine it's Izuku. Izuku, ugh, I've never danced like that before, dude, he said, all sweaty. At that moment the girls blushed even more as they took photos of the green-haired man's well-worked body with his sweat on it. Chatmen 0. Chat women. Izuku just laughed at his chat's reaction. Izuku, come on, so with this today's stream ends, dude, thanks for being here, see you tomorrow, he said, closing the stream. Then the girls watched as the green-haired boy lay down on his bed. Izuku, ugh, that was tiring, tomorrow I have to go with Ibara, you church old man, he said, covering his eyes with his arm. Setsuna, what did he say? She said confused. Kendo, no, but it seems that he mentioned Ibara, she said, somewhat jealous. Ibara, maybe he said I'm pretty, she said blushing. Yui, I wish, this jealous woman said. Ibara, come on girls, don't get angry, maybe he just remembered that tomorrow we have to go to church tomorrow, I have a date with him, she shouted, blushing. Then Ibara, shocked, brought her hands to her face, accidentally letting go. Ibara, oh no, she said, she is falling, but Kendo caught her. Kendo, it's very heavy, he said. It was also falling, but Kanoko took it. Kinoko, I'm too small to hold them, she said, also falling, but Yui took them. Yui, no, I can bear it, she said, this one is also falling, but they were taken by Pony. Pony, no, she said, this one was also falling, but Setsuna took them XD. Setsuna, shit, she said, she's falling, but there she is. Nobody picked her up. Then the 6 girls fell to the grass, one on top of the other. Luckily, Ibra was able to put her vines so they wouldn't hurt themselves anymore, but they all watched annoyed as Reiko floated down. Yui, you could help us, you know? She said, somewhat upset. Reiko, I'm sorry, I didn't think fast, she said, putting away her cell phone where a photo of the green-haired boy in boxers could be perfectly seen. Setsuna, but well, leaving that aside, we have what. He fell silent when he saw how the camera had been destroyed. Setsuna, Ibra, Yui, Kendo, Komori, Pony, no, these sad girls shouted. Reiko, girls, she said while showing the photo of the green-haired boy. Setsuna, Ibra, Yui, Kendo, Komori, Pony, equals, oh, they were left with their faces completely red. Setsuna, give it to me, I want it, I need it, she said on her knees before Reiko. Ibra, if you give it to me, God will bring blessings to your life, she said, joining her hands together without taking her eyes off the photo. Kendo, as president of the hall, I ask you to give me that photo, she said with a blush. Yui, please pass it to me, she said, blushing. Then Reiko passed the photo to Yui. Yui, too, I get this blood out through my nose. Kinoko, why do you give it to her? She said with a pout. Reiko, please tell me, she said, watching as Yui's nose wouldn't stop bleeding. Setsuna, Ibra, Kendo, Komori, Pony, can you pass it to me, please, oh all-powerful Reiko? They said you are begging. Then Reiko, with a triumphant smile, handed them the photo of the green-haired boy. All the girls blushed, and some even fainted. Setsuna, this is perfect, she said with a silly smile. Izuku, tremendous bucking stalkers Kanchazamare, he said, taking Reiko's phone and looking at the photo. Ibra, Midoriya, it's not what it seems, she said with fear. All the girls were scared that now the green-haired boy would see them as stalkers. They were afraid that the green-haired boy would see them as weirdos. Then the green-haired boy just took out his phone, copied Reiko's phone, and sent her a photo. Izuku, so they don't buck around in the kennel, he said as he left. Setsuna, what did he say? She said, confused. Yui, he hates us? She said sadly. Reiko, no, it's the opposite of that, she said, blushing while showing her phone. At that moment all the girls blushed as much as they could while blood came out of their noses. Setsuna, well then we can proudly say that this is a Reiko, Setsuna, Ibra, Yui, Kendo, Komori, Pony, mission accomplished, they said, smiling with a blush. The perfect date. We can see a green-haired girl in her room getting ready for her outing with Izuku. Ibra, maybe you like this, she said, walking around in front of her mirror in a casual dress, but what if you don't like it and think I'm a very reserved girl, maybe something more revealing? Then she tried on a miniskirt with a shirt with a considerable neckline. She only saw herself with a small grimace of disgust. No, very revealing. Why did I buy this? She said, throwing it in the trash. What can I wear, God? She said, covering her blushing face. Wait a minute, he is someone famous, therefore he must have a fan page. Maybe he will say what his ideal girl would be like. Let's see. Then Ibra started searching for Dylantero on Google. At first she didn't understand what came out, and in the end she ended up copying and pasting it into her phone's translator. Let's see, here it says, Izuku Midoriya, better known as Dylantero, has always said in his videos and live shows that he likes girls who don't pretend what they don't. They like girls who dress the way they like without caring about the opinions of others, and above all they have firm beliefs in themselves. She is an angel, she screamed and fell backwards onto her bed. Then dress however you want, she said. Smiling, let's start again, she said as she began to take clothes out of her closet. 3 hours later. We can see how the green-haired boy was playing on his computer. Izuku, dude, kill him. You are of a hitch, damn rat pig, said this annoying guy. Todoroki, okay, dude, calm down, we're playing Mario races, he said nervously. Izuku, hey, that guy throws me a blue Kanchazamare when I'm in first place, he said, annoyed. Bakugo, the blue one always hits first, you idiot, he said mockingly. Izuku, damn, I came in 5th, motherbucker, this guy said, annoyed. Todoroki, dude, didn't you have an appointment with the plant at 4? He said this so Izuku could see his phone. Izuku, 10 minutes left, I'll get ready in 5 another race. Dude, this can't be left like this, he said, taking control with force. Time skip 5 minutes. Todoroki, dude, 5 minutes left, he said seriously. Izuku, I'll fix it in 2, he said without stopping the race. Time skip 3 minutes. Todoroki, dude, 2 minutes left, he said seriously. Izuku, I'll fix it in 1, he said smiling. Bakugo, what the hell? See. Time skip 2 minutes. We can see the green-haired boy dressed in such a perfect way that the girls would blush because of how well put together he looked, but a moment later Ibra came down and blushed because of how the green-haired boy was dressed. He just came down and stood in front of him. Ibra, how do I look? She said, blushing. But then Ibra realized her mistake. She was going to take her phone, but everyone was surprised to see how the green-haired boy started talking. Izuku, you see you look good, he said very vaguely. Everyone was surprised to see how the green-haired boy could learn a sentence in Japanese very quickly. Huh? Ibra just blushed. Really, Izuku learned to speak Japanese just for his date. That was something nice on his part. Ibra, do you really believe that? Well, you look very good too, she said, playing with her fingers, but Izuku just stared blankly. Izuku, damn, I don't understand that anymore. Let's go, he said, taking Ibra's hand to leave the dorms. Ibra blushed when she felt the green-haired boy's hand but held it tightly under the jealous gaze of all the girls. Then they left the bedrooms for their date. Girls, lucky you, they all said in unison. So now we can see how Izuku and Ibra walked holding hands. Izuku, what then do you want to do? He said this. Ibra vaguely understood what the green-haired boy wanted to say. Ibra, to the church. One moment, he said slowly. Then the green-haired boy just agreed and stopped. Izuku, you guide me, he said smiling. Then Ibra, smiling, just started walking while guiding the green-haired boy to the church. She wanted to show the green-haired boy that she had her beliefs clear, just as he likes girls. Then she guided the green-haired boy to the church, where they spent a moment. The people who were there greeted Ibra since they knew her. Then they came to an altar. And Ibra told Izuku what to do. What made Ibra blush is that the green-haired boy never denied her anything or was ashamed. Apparently he started on the right foot in her eyes. After an hour and a half they left the church. Izuku, your beliefs, I like them, he said smiling. Ibra just blushed at the green-haired man's comment because, to be honest, no one had ever said anything nice about her beliefs. Sometimes they would flirt with her on the street, but when she started talking to them about the man and how it was wrong, they would just walk away. But with the green-haired man it was different. She would tell him about the man and he would give her all the attention in the world. Ibra, where do you want to go? She said, making signs with her hands. Izuku, today my guide is, he said smiling. Then Ibra nodded and blushed and took the green-haired boy's hand again to go to another place. Then after walking for a while they arrived at what the green-haired boy never expected to see. Izuku, dude, is this real? It's a giant fair, dude, he said with stars in his eyes. I want to go to that. That's it, he said, pulling Ibra's sleeve. Ibra just blushed seeing how cute the green-haired boy looked. Seeing his excitement and happiness, she assumed it was her first time in an amusement park, so with a tender smile she just acknowledged. Then the green-haired boy and Ibra walked past. She was about to take out her purse but saw how the green-haired boy took out his wallet and paid more than necessary. Cashier, oh, some foreigners, he said with a mocking smile. That's right, sir, come in, he said with a smile. Ibra, give us back our change and give us our pass, she said, pointing with her vines. Cashier, why yes ma'am, he said, scared. Then he gives the passes and the change to Ibra, and she snatches them from his hands. Ibra, don't let it happen again, she said seriously. Cashier, and never, he said with fear. Izuku, come on, you bucking hitch, I want to get on something, he said excitedly. Ibra, okay, let's go. Just I took care of some matters, she said, speaking slowly so that the green-haired boy could understand. Izuku, okay, now let's go, he said smiling. Ibra, yes, she said, taking him by the hand. And so the two green-haired boys spent the whole day at the amusement park until nightfall. They now walked through the illuminated streets of the city, while the green-haired boy had stars in their eyes. Ibra, do you like the lights? She said, approaching the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh yes, I like them, he said, somewhat blushing at Ibra's approach. Ibra, Too bad it's time to go, she said, holding the green-haired boy's hand. Izuku, yes, let's go, he said, smiling. Then after walking for several moments they arrived at the entrance of the academy. The green-haired boy stopped, confusing Ibara. Ibara, what the this one didn't end as she remained static after feeling a kiss on the cheek. Izuku, that's it for today, Ibara, thank you very much for showing me the city and the best of it, but I can safely say that the most beautiful thing today was you, he said, hugging her. Ibara couldn't believe what she was hearing. She just blushed as smoke came out of her ears. She couldn't articulate words. Then the green-haired boy just looked at some bushes and raised his thumb with a confused grimace. Todoroki in the bushes with a sign. Ibara, I had lots of fun with you today, she said, blushing. Izuku, I don't understand you at all, but I'm going to hug you, he said while hugging Ibara. Ibara just snuggled into the green-haired boy's chest with a blush as the starry night illuminated them. Izuku, dude, that was also my first kiss because of the buck poeon that I made her. I fell in love with her memes. It's not that bad, she's from a religious family. It'll be hard for them to accept me, but if they do, I'd be with a pretty girl. What are you thinking, poeon, he said in his mind. Ibara, shall we go in? She said with a blush while the green-haired boy acknowledged it was an excellent day. I got to know him better. He had fun with me and I made him see a little of the city. He hugged me and told me I was beautiful, she thought, blushing. Without a doubt a perfect date, she said, smiling. Todoroki, dude, I got stuck, he said among the thorns in the bush. Bakugo, damn, I'm the same, dude, he said, worried. Todoroki/Bakugo, help Conc chase Yumeori, they shouted. That was heard throughout the UA. Russian vodka. The green-haired boy was looking at what he had in his hands and was just drunk. Tetsu, Midoriya, how nervous you feel? He said. Izuku, I feel that I must restore the Soviet Union. He said this so that everyone could see how his body grew in musculature. Everyone, what the hell, they all said in shock. Flashback. After his date with Ibara, the green-haired boy was walking with her to the dorms while they talked calmly, trying to understand each other until they arrived. When they arrived, they saw how everyone was calm and the girls blushed at the presence of the green-haired boy but became jealous when they saw how he was walking hand in hand with Ibara. Reiko, why do they come hand in hand? This jealous woman said. The green-haired boy didn't understand him. He spoke very fluently, but Ibara saw how he had his hand with the green-haired boy's and their fingers intertwined. Ibara, and no, tell me, she said, blushing. Yui, and why don't you let her go? This jealous woman said. Ibara, because I didn't accident, this redhead said. So at that moment Kendo made hand signals to the green-haired boy and pointed at his hand. Izuku, what the hell, you idiot, he said, looking at his hand. You bucking idiot, he said, quickly taking his hand away from Ibara. Sorry, I didn't notice, he said, blushing. The girls found the green-haired boy's blush very cute. Ibara just shook her head as a sign not to worry. Izuku, now what do I do, you bastard, he said, bored, but he fell silent when he saw someone knocking on the door. Postman, package for Izuku Midoriya, he said, looking at the paper. Izuku, he said, my name, it must be for my poeon, he said while picking up the package. Postman, sign here and here, okay, ready, bye, he said, waving goodbye. Izuku, bye, Konkatomare, he said as he went to the table and put the package there. Monoma, what happened to you? He asked, confused. Izuku, no, I know, he said this to start opening it. When they opened the box, everyone got nervous when they saw its contents. Izuku, a vodka? He said, confused. Then he took a bottle, he opened it, he was about to drink it, but Ibara quickly took it from him. Ibara, no bad, she said while spraying him with water. Izuku, hey, I'm not a dog, he said, covering himself. Then he quickly opened another bottle and no one could stop him from drinking it. End flashback. Izuku, you seeing Monoma, you want to be an ally? He said, extending his hand. Monoma, what is that? He said nervously. Izuku, an ally, my brother, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours, it's ours, he said, making a somewhat strange pose. Monoma, no, I don't want to, he said, scared. Izuku, oh, what a pity, bro, now we'll have to kill you, he said, taking out a Russian tactical submachine gun, leaving everyone in shock. Yui, where did I get that from? She said in shock. Izuku, run hitch, he said, pointing at Monoma. Ibara, Izuku, stop, she said firmly but scared. Izuku, oh, you will be very pretty, he said, blushing to Ibara. You will be my next lady, he said, taking Ibara's hand. Together we will bring communism, I said. Ibara, why yes, she said, blushing because the green-haired boy took her hand. Kendo, Reiko, quickly see that you have that bottle and how we can avoid it, she said, worried. Reiko, take the bottle. Russian vodka, if you drink it you will become Russian for 30 minutes. There is no way around it. We will have to wait 30 minutes, he said worriedly. Kendo, well, what's the worst that could happen in 30 minutes? She said with a nervous laugh. Time skip. Dorms 1B had become a war zone with two forts, the Communists and the Revolution. The Communists were formed by Izuku, Ibara, Reiko, Kendo, Setsuna, Yui, Kinoko, Tetsu, and the Revolution for Monoma, Pony, Aways, and the rest XD. In the Communist fort. Ibara, how did we get to this? She said, scared. Kendo, I don't know, I didn't think this would happen in 29 minutes, she said worriedly. Tetsu, well, it doesn't matter anymore, he said, taking out a piece of pizza, but Izuku took it from him and ate it. What's wrong with you? He said sadly. Izuku, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, he said while chewing the pizza. But then everyone sees how the green-haired boy innocently falls to the ground and then wakes up. Izuku, hey, you bucking faggot, what the buck happened? He said, holding his head. All, he's back, they said happily and relieved. Izuku, what happened to me? He said, confused. Yui, better not talk about that, she said with a drop of sweat. But then it is seen how the cushioned fort in which they were is destroyed by Monoma, who was riding towards Shishuda, and they took Izuku. Izuku, bucking Weon Kanchazumare, what's happening? He said with fear. Monoma, don't pretend, we will overthrow your empire, he said while those who followed him shouted like Vikings. Izuku, hey, what's up, dude? I don't understand you at all, dude. But you're really pissing me off, he said, crying. Kendo, Monoma, let it go, he's back to being who he was, he said, relieving everyone. Monoma, are you serious? He said, staring at him. Izuku, I don't understand you, how are you so stupid? He said, annoyed. Annoying, yes it is him, he said, breathing a sigh of relief. After that they explained to the green-haired man what happened through a translator, since it would be difficult with words. Izuku, damn, you bastard, all that made me thirsty, he said, accidentally drinking from the bottle of vodka. All, no, these frightened people said. Izuku, brothers, we must restore the Soviet Union, he said in a scream of madness. All, shit, what stupidity, they said, already tired. Izuku, hey, why are you insulting? This angry guy said. All, yes, sorry, they said, calming down. Izuku, well, to war, he said to launch himself against the students. All, I feel ashamed. A day of tranquility? A new day at the UA. Yui, a very quiet day, she said while sipping her coffee. Tetsu, nothing better than a strong coffee to study 100%. That's for men, he said while everyone agreed. Kendo, hey, in this calm? She said, confused. Ibara, it's true, it's very quiet today, she said while sipping her tea. Kinoko, I don't know the reason, but it's better to enjoy it, she said, smiling. Monoma 3. Everyone looked at Monoma strangely. Kendo 3 what? She said, confused. Monoma 2. Everyone started to get a little alarmed. Aways, Monoma, what are you talking about? He said, alarmed. Monoma, 1, take cover, he shouted as he got under the table like everyone else when he saw the roof crack and someone fell onto the table. Izuku, buck your mother, he screamed as he fell to the ground. When he fell to the ground, the green-haired boy broke the small table in the living room when he fell on it. Luckily, he didn't break anything but the ceiling and the table. Everyone was going to talk, but Todoroki, are you okay, you bucking maraca? This guy said through the ceiling. At that moment the green-haired man saw the body. Everyone saw in shock and terrified how he had a piece of wood inserted in his foot. Izuku, H, my hick, I screamed in pain. All H, they screamed terrified. Todoroki, H, he also shouted scared. Bakugo, why are you screaming H, he screamed while looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, ha, it's plastic Powion, he said, this one showing his real leg. At that moment everyone stopped screaming and glared at the green-haired boy. Izuku, hey dude, why are you looking at me like that? He said with fear. At that moment everyone took a step like this, the green-haired one, while he tried to back away but ended up running into a wall. Izuku, hey you bucking bastard, no, he said with fear. Yui, to him she said angrily. At that moment, everyone started hitting the green-haired boy because of the fright they had given him. After 5 minutes they left him on the ground. Luckily he was wearing his mask, which only slightly cushioned the pain of the blows. Ibra, that will teach you not to scare us like that, she said with a pout. Izuku, hitch Powion, he said this to fall unconscious. After 30 minutes the green-haired boy woke up on the couch. Luckily Monoma had the delicacy to lift him up onto it, and not leave him on the floor. The green-haired boy, with a little pain, stood up and took off his mask. Izuku, Chuka, everything hurts, he said, taking off his shirt with a little pain. Since when did you make me so hot, Yuion, he said, looking at his abdomen. The green-haired boy hears a flash. Izuku, what the hell, said this scared guy. When he turned around he could see all the girls with a trickle of blood running down their noses. He hadn't realized they were there. Izuku, stalkers, he said in Japanese, making the girls blush. At that point all the girls started babbling things that the green-haired boy didn't even understand, so he just put on his uniform and went to the academy, leaving the girls behind. Kendo, great, now he's going to see us weird, she said sadly. The sound of a notification bell brought them out of their thoughts. Reiko, wait, I got a message from him, she nervously said. Yui, read it, the sooner we know the better, she said sadly, thinking that the green-haired boy would see them strangely. But no one continued. When they opened the photo to see Reiko going backwards with blood coming out of her nose, the confused girls took Reiko's phone, and when they saw the message they did the same. The green-haired boy had sent another photo. Just the first one XD. Kinoko, how can it be so? Kendo, perfect? She said, blushing. Kinoko, exactly, she said without taking her eyes off the photo. Ibra, well, it's tea time, T to G go, she said, blushing without taking her eyes off the photo. After spending some time looking at the photo, the girls were finally able to go to the academy, where everyone was already waiting for them. When they entered the room they saw that someone was missing. Yui, Izuku? She said, confused. Monoma, Izuku? This rascal said. Yui, I say Midoriya, yes Midoriya, she said, trying to get back to her serious tone. Tetsu, well, nothing, he went to see some things with the director, and now he's back, he said, smiling. But everyone fell silent and turned in one direction when they saw the 1A teacher coming with an Izuku tied in his bandages. Izuku, I'll help, he said with fear. Aizawa, you'll have some confrontations with my class, so come now, he said, leaving with Izuku in his bandages. Izuku, help you bucking faggots, he said, extending his hand, but no one helped him. Buck you, he said, giving them the middle finger. Everyone stood still for a few moments. Kendo, perhaps. Ibara, did he just insult us? She said angrily. It doesn't count anymore, they said with an aura of terror and annoyance. A confrontation not so epic. Izuku, Chucha Powion, I don't want to fight against you, he said, scared. All Might, ha, surrender, hero, this is your end, he said, pretending to be a villain. Izuku, I don't understand you at all, you idiot, he said, scared. Then the green-haired boy started to run, scared, making everyone watching through the cameras sweat. But we will ask ourselves, how did we get to this? Well, what happened was... Flashback. The green-haired boy was waking up from the beating that Ibra had just given him. Ibra, don't insult me again, she said, annoyed. Izuku, I won't buck you, this man said in pain. Ibra, I think I'll learn to speak your language just to know if you're insulting me, she said, crossing her arms. Izuku, I don't understand you at all, you idiot, he said, trying to get up. Then Ibra grabbed the green-haired boy with her vines and stood him up. Ibra, What lesson is left for you, she said with a pout. Izuku, Maraka culia concatumere, he said, this annoying guy, but in Chilean so that Ibra wouldn't understand him. Ibra, I'll take that as a yes, she said as she took the green-haired boy's hand and began to guide him. Then the green-haired boy reluctantly began to follow Ibra under the jealous gaze of some girls. After a while they reached a large field where all the students of Class 1A and 1B were. Then the green-haired boy alone went to where the boys were and stood there trying to understand what Aizawa and Vlad were saying, but he couldn't. Aizawa, well, any questions? This boring guy said. Momo, I have one, she said, raising her hand. Aizawa, oh my god, Momo, what are you confused about? He said, breathing heavily. Momo, why isn't he wearing his hero costume? He said, pointing at the green-haired boy so everyone would turn to look at him. Izuku, what? He said, confused. Todoroki, your hero costume, damn it, he said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh, I don't have a Puion. What do I do? He said, confused. Bakugo, well, you can't wear your uniform. Puion, he said, so the green-haired boy would nod. Izuku, I have an idea, he said this. Then all the girls watched with a runny nose as the green-haired boy took off his shirt and rolled up his pants so he wouldn't have to dirty his uniform. The girls thanked God he had his mask on, otherwise they would faint. Izuku, is that okay, you bastard? He said, looking at Bakugo. Bakugo, every day I get prettier, dude, he said, smiling. Vlad, well, whatever then, I just have to tell you that one of you will have to. Vlad fell silent and everyone looked up at the sky as they saw something falling from it. All Might, I'm here, he said, putting on a somewhat bizarre pose. Everyone at that moment was excited to see All Might, but All Might, and one of you will face me, he said, smiling. Aizawa, well, whoever wants to face All Might takes a step forward, he said seriously. At that moment everyone took a step back except the green-haired boy, who didn't understand what was happening. Then All Might just approached him and took him by the shoulder. All Might, how brave, young Midoriya, to sacrifice himself for his companions, but are you sure about this? He said with his smile and raising his thumb. Then the green-haired boy, without understanding, just raised his thumb so that All Might could take it as an affirmation. All Might, fine, then we will have our fight until the end, he said, smiling. Then the green-haired boy just nodded and went back to his companions. Izuku, what happened? He asked Yui. Yui, sorry, she said, lowering her head. Izuku, sorry, why are you a jerk? He said, confused. Ibra, no, we understood you, but don't worry, it's nothing, forgive us for making you face All Might, but we got nervous and didn't know what to do, she said, lowering her head. Then the green-haired boy, without understanding, also just lowered his head, imitating the action of the two girls, making everyone shed a drop of sweat. All Might, well, let's start with the battles, he said excitedly, so everyone approved. After that the battles were very impressive and Bakugo and Shoto could not find a way to tell Izuku that he would face All Might, so they just left him to his fate like good comrades. So the fights continued until it was time for the green-haired boy. He was very calm talking to Ibra and Setsuna, but he noticed how nervous they were. Izuku, what happens? He asked, confused. Then Ibra, unable to bear the guilt, took out her phone and turned on the translator. Ibra, look, I'll be honest with you, you'll have to face All Might, dude, you're screwed, said the translator. Izuku, what, why? He said, confused. Translator, you will face the number one hero. Damn it, you screwed up, he said this so that Izuku opened his eyes wide. Izuku, shit Pakunchazamere, what the buck, why the buck? He said, scared. Ibra, sorry, will you forgive me? She said, lowering her head. The green-haired boy was upset they left him to his own devices, but he preferred to calm down and just grabbed Ibra's shoulders. Izuku, no, there is problem, he said, smiling, but it wasn't noticeable because of the mask. Ibra felt happy that the green-haired boy didn't get mad at him so much so that he threw himself at him without thinking about anything. The girls of Class B saw this jealously. The green-haired boy just blushed and stood still without doing anything. His shyness towards girls would never go out of style. Then he was smiling alone and went down to Ibra and hit her head lightly. Ibra, ow, she said with comical tears. Izuku, yes, you deserve it, he said, somewhat annoyed. Todoroki. Hey, but she doesn't. The green-haired boy hits him so hard that he is pinned to the ground. Todoroki, what the hell is wrong with you, you bucking bastard, this annoying guy said. Izuku, hey, what a jerk, tremendous skill, you should have told me that I had to fight against that idiot, you bastard, he said, also annoyed. Bakugo, we didn't know how the hell to tell you, he said, also annoying. Izuku, you bucking Maraka, this annoying guy said. What bucking time, is it my turn? This annoying guy said. Todoroki, now, he said seriously. Izuku, shit, said this annoying guy. Now we can see the green-haired boys stretching in the city field waiting for All Might to arrive while everyone watched them through the cameras. Izuku, now what the hell do I do? He said nervously. But he remained silent as he watched All Might come down from the sky in all his splendor. The green-haired boy could do nothing but start to tremble. All Might, ha ha ha, surrender hero, he said, approaching the green-haired boy. Izuku, hey, let's fix this like adults, he said, making everyone sweat. All Might, no, he said, this growing more. Izuku, why are you so bad, dude? He said with fear. All Might, run, he said with a thick voice. End flashback. The green-haired boy was escaping from All Might, but he wasn't fast enough. All Might was getting closer and closer, so he had to use the last option he had left. Izuku, damn, I'll have to peel, he said, stopping. Everyone watched with respect as the green-haired boy, although fearful, stood on guard and flames began to come out of him. Everyone watched with shock as they saw flames that extended to more than 10 meters high. Then All Might, he began to sweat upon arriving as he felt the heat. All Might, anything to say before we start? He said, smiling. Izuku, Mother No is the one who breeds. Everyone at that moment was confused by what the green-haired boy was trying to say. Mother is the one who will break you. Everyone at that moment grew a drop of sweat while Denki, Bakugo, Shoto, Kirishima, Monoma and Tetsu laughed out loud. All Might, that's a very strong word, don't you think, young man? He said with a nervous smile. Izuku, how could you be so stupid that you don't understand that I don't understand you, you idiot, this annoying guy said. All Might, yes, calm down, young man, I don't understand you, he said nervously. Izuku, well, let's start, he said, getting into a fighting stance. All Might, yes, he said, doing the same. Then everyone watched worriedly as the green-haired boy All Might launched himself at him. While he stood still, All Might was about to hit him, but everyone was shocked to see how his fist passed through him. All Might, what? He said, surprised. In the camera room. Yui, what happened? She said, surprised. Ibara, Izuku? She said, surprised. Izuku, here, he said from behind, drawing everyone's attention. Shoto, dude, I was supposed to face him, he said while looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, you're an idiot if you thought I was going to face that, he said, sitting on the floor. Aizawa, All Might, you can come back, the snot is here, he said, bored, watching the green-haired boy sitting on the floor while everyone looked at him with a drop of sweat. Time skip. We can see how the green-haired boy cleaned the bedrooms with a depressive aura behind him. Izuku, damn, I just wanted to live, he said, lowering his head. Then the whole room approached the green-haired boy and took the broom away from him. Izuku, what happens? He said, confused. Ibara, this is our fault, let us clean up, she said, bowing, as did the whole room. Izuku, come on, Kanchazamare, what have you already said, he said, putting his hands in his pockets. I'm going to have something to drink. He took out his phone. Hey Kanchazamare, you idiots, let's go drink, he said, leaving. Everyone watched with a drop of sweat as the green-haired boy left. They expected something super emotional from the green-haired boy saying that they would clean everything together or something like that, but with no other option, they only had to clean. I can't think of a title. We can see the entire classroom one be gathered in the room with a girl of medium height, and with pink hair with a strange device in her hand. Kendo, so that will help us understand Izuku? She said, impressed. Yes, my baby is an intellectual translator. He will translate any language into Japanese, she said, smiling. Ibara, then we just have to wait for him to come, and we will put it on him, she said with a calm smile. Izuku, buck your mother, P-O-C-O-N-C chase you Mayari, said this drunk, entering through the door. At that moment, everyone looked disappointed at the green-haired boy. Really, He's so young and he's already an alcoholic? Then Ibra came to where he was and pulled his ear and began to scold him. Ibra, Izuku, how is it possible that you drink at this age? Don't you know what that does to your guts? You should better blah 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 blah. Izuku, I don't understand you at all, you idiot. May uses the translator without him noticing just because I like you, otherwise he opened his eyes when he heard what she said. What the buck? He said in shock. Ibra just turned red when she heard what the green-haired boy said, and the girls were jealous. Ibra, why you out like me? She said, blushing. Izuku, this one runs away, we didn't see you, idiot, he said as he left. Ibra just fell silent with a blush on the couch while the green-haired boy's words kept going through her head. May just left. Ibra, do you like me? Do you like me? She said, stuttering without being able to stop repeating what the green-haired boy said. But then the girls just grabbed Ibra and took her to the kendo room to talk about something. With Izuku. Izuku, so that happened, he said, embarrassed. Bakugo, I mean, what the buck is he speaking Japanese out of nowhere? He said, surprised. Izuku, yeah dude, not even I know how it happened, he said, scratching his chin. Shoto, what is that you have on your neck? He said, confused. Izuku, it's dirt from my chain, he said, laughing. Bakugo, no way, you have shining something on your neck, he said seriously. Then the green-haired boy saw that he had a kind of metal square stuck to his neck, so he just took it off. Bakugo, what is it? Izuku, I didn't understand you at all, you are of a hitch, he said, confused. Shoto, can you try to put it on again? He said this for the green-haired boy to nod. Then the green-haired boy stuck the metal circle around his neck again. Izuku, what the hell is that? He said, confused, and was surprised to see how he understood Japanese again. Shoto, apparently it's what helps you understand Japanese, he said, somewhat surprised. Izuku, wow, that's great, with this I'll finally understand what others are saying, he said, smiling. Bakugo, so going back to what we said before, did you tell us that you told the plant girl that you like her by accident? He said so that the green-haired boy's smile would fade away. Izuku, shit, I just don't know what to do, he said, confusing them both. Shoto, why? He said, confused. Izuku, I think I like all the girls in the classroom, he said this so that the other two would open their eyes. Bakugo, typical Latin American, he said disappointedly. Izuku, hey, what the buck, you guys come from there too, don't insult the neighborhood, he said, somewhat annoyed. Shoto, actually I was born here in Japan, he said, surprising the other two. Izuku, really? Todoroki nods, then how do you speak Chilean so well? He said, surprised as well as Bakugo. Shoto, well. Flashback. Murdoch, gay joke, it's gay joke time, don't get mad because it's just a gay joke, 2 gays die and go to heaven. Oich. Murdoch, they came to the pearly gates and knocked. Gay, halo, knocking on the door, halo. Murdoch, and God opens the door and says, God, what the hell do they want here? Gay, we want to pass. God, no. Gay, but why? God, why not to enter heaven you should take these pills. Gays take a breath of air. Gays, yeah, they said while tasting the pills, but they started farting right and left. Murdoch, and God says, God, did you learn what the pot is for? Murdoch, gay joke time, don't get angry because it's just a gay joke. End flashback. Shoto, he said without leaving his imagination. Izuku, this idiot went somewhere else, he said looking at Shoto. Bakugo, so what the hell are you going to do? He said confused. Izuku, face it like the man I am, he said seriously. Bakugo, you're an idiot womanizer, he said laughing. Izuku, tell me something I don't know, you fool, he said, raising his sunglasses. Bakugo, well, time to go. Shoto, haha, gay joke, he said without leaving his thoughts. Izuku / Bakugo, holy crap, these bastards said. After that the two of them hit Shoto to get him out of their thoughts, and together they returned to the academy. The girls were all blushing, waiting for the green-haired boy to arrive to talk to him, and from afar they saw him. They saw how he approached with a blush, being pushed by Bakugo and Shoto, who left him at the entrance and ran away. The boys were going to talk to the green-haired boy, but they saw how Ibra took him with her vines, and together with all the girls they left. Monoma, history will never forget your courage and sacrifice, he said with a military salute, just like all the boys. Then the girls went to Kendo's room, locked it, and left the green-haired boy on the floor. Izuku, well, I know what I told you, and look, there's no need to hit me. I know I'm an idiot, I know I'm an imbecile, I know I'm shit, but we shouldn't come to blows. I'll just get away from you and everything will be fine for you, right? He said, smiling nervously. The girls felt a little bad about the idea that the green-haired boy had of him, so Ibra, taking courage, just gave the green-haired boy a kiss, which he blushed and reciprocated. Then what the green-haired boy didn't imagine was that all the girls would give him a kiss on the lips as well. Izuku, okay, what happened? He said, surprised. Ibra, Izuku, what happens is... it's just that we all like you. Izuku, okay, what the hell, Pyo Kanhachimer, how did he say Misa and this Rosa? He said, somewhat nervous but happy. In another universe. Izuku, Ichu. Ibra, why you have feeling okay am Midoriya? She said, confused. Izuku, yes, I think the effort in the fight against John Breakfast left me very tired, he said, laughing a little. Back with Izuku. Do you want to be our boyfriend? They asked, blushing. Izuku, yes, he said, smiling. Yui, so fast? She said, blushing. Izuku, do you think this is a fat pad story? It's obvious that I want to be with you. I'm not an anime protagonist who is cool and doesn't want to be with anyone for reasons I've never understood. Come here, he said, spreading his arms. At that point, all the blushing girls rushed to hug the green-haired boy while he warmed up his body a little so that the girls could feel his warmth. Kendo, Izuku. Reiko, we love you, she said, snuggling up to the green-haired boy. Izuku, it's obvious that I do too, he said happily. Ibara, so we are already. Izuku, yes, we are a couple, he said, smiling. Kanoko, oh well, in that case. At that moment, they all threw themselves at the green-haired boy, leaving him on the ground and immobilizing him. Izuku, what's wrong? He nervously said. Reiko, we've been wanting to do this for a long time. Setsuna, and today we will fulfill it, she said, to take her blouse like all the girls while they unbuttoned it little by little. Izuku, oh, he said nervously. A new enemy is coming. The green-haired man was nervous. He didn't know what to do in this situation. The girls were undressing and he didn't know what to do, so he just decided to enjoy the moment. He knew it was wrong, but he started to think. Izuku, well, I have 4 oppa and I like them. They like me, why not put out? I thought this. But he felt the bag around his head being lifted. The girls let out a small laugh when they saw the green-haired boy's blushing face. It made them feel tender, so with nothing more to lose, he took off his shirt. The girls blushed when they saw his physique. The girls began to kiss him everywhere, while Yui began to take off his pants. Izuku's Symphony, hey guys, it's Misa. I wanted to tell you today. Let's see, dude, did your parents give you permission to watch this? Huh. You re-watching crap disguised as reading written by a 16-year-old guy. How do you feel? You feel dirty, but do not worry because your friend Misa is going to help you. Listen to me, little Timmy, you will pray 10 Our Fathers before brushing your teeth while you do 3 turns backwards. Understood? Well, to summarize, they had a night very, very crazy in which many thought. There are too many girls, surely the guy couldn't hold on and died. I don't want to be too graphic, but the guy was tripping alone, okay? And that horns are not only for decoration, and that separating into parts is more useful than it seems. Seriously, and the girls, well, let's say that the Yui of this dimension is very enthusiastic? I mean, she wanted to monopolize, but in the end they all ended up happy, content, exhausted, and the guy still wanted. Am I like that in this dimension? Yui Ibara Setsuna Kendo Kinoko Reiko, we'll find out. Izuku's Symphony, what? Yui Ibara Setsuna Kendo Kinoko Reiko. And nothing, we're leaving. Izuku's Symphony, well guys, you have nothing to thank me for. I love you too. Remember to eat fruits and vegetables. Bye. The next day. The green-haired boy was waking up. He couldn't feel his crotch much. He turned to his side and saw all the girls with a silly smile still sleeping. Izuku, damn you dude, what did you do? How did you get so stupid? He said, holding his head. But then the girls, due to the green-haired boy's sudden movements, slowly stood up, revealing a tender smile that made the green-haired boy blush, which again seemed to tend to the girls. Then Ibra took the green-haired boy's translator from the nightstand and placed it around his neck. Ibra, good morning darling, how did you sleep? She said, giving him a kiss on the lips. Izuku, well then, right? He said, blushing, turning his head. At that moment Setsuna took the green-haired boy's face and gave him a somewhat racy kiss while lightly biting his lip. Setsuna, you don't have to be ashamed, in fact, we love that you enjoyed it, she said while caressing the green-haired boy's hair. But then Kendo stood up and started stroking the green-haired boy's hair too. Kendo, do you know what we are now? She said, smiling. Izuku, AAC couple? He said, confused. Kinoko, exactly, but a shared one, do you know what that means? Izuku, yes, Japan is strange, he said this so the girls would laugh. Kinoko, no, silly, a shared couple is that we will be with you, but you have to give us all the same affection. Understood? She said, hugging the green-haired boy. Izuku, yes, I think I understand now, he said with a nervous smile. Yui, but that's true. All, be careful when talking to other Izuku Midoriya, they said with a dark aura. Izuku, promise, he said with some fear. Pony, well then everything is settled. Are we going to have breakfast? She said, smiling. Ibra, yes, but first they all see the green-haired boy with a smile. Izuku, holy shit. Time skip. The green-haired boy was having breakfast, somewhat sore, while all the girls were laughing a little. Izuku, was it necessary? He said, seeing his body full of hickeys. Yui, do you know that you have an owner? Well, owners, yes, she said, she is eating her breakfast. Izuku, well, oh, wait for me, I have to go, he said, looking at his phone. Reiko, and may I know where you are going? She said with an aura that promised pain. Izuku, I am going to the bank, I'll go deposit money to my mother, he said with a little fear. Yui, oh, it's okay, he said, removing his aura. Ibra, but we will go with you, she said this so that all the girls would nod. Izuku, well, let's go, he said this to start walking with the girls. So they all went to the bank together. The girls watched in shock as the green-haired boy sent a large amount of money to their mother, but they decided not to say anything until they got to the dorms. Then the green-haired boy called his mother while the girls just listened to him quietly. Izuku, yes, I already deposited it for you. No, you know it's not a problem, I love you too. Tell Dad Artemio to deposit money for his new wheelchair. Yes, okay, bye, he said this one to hang up. How difficult is this, he said this one in a sigh that the girls heard. So the green-haired boy didn't expect the girls to hug him while caressing various parts of his body, but in a loving way. Ibara, are you okay, Izuku? She said, worried. Izuku, yes, it's just that I don't know, he said, sighing. Since I was 12 I have been in charge of supporting my family because my father abandoned us when we were very young. Although I don't complain, I would have liked to be able to enjoy my childhood, you know, he said, laughing a little. At that point Ibra began to remember the green-haired boy's excitement when he arrived at the amusement park when they went out for the first time. Ibra, so that's why? She said in a low tone that no one heard. Izuku, but still no, I don't complain, I'm happy and more so now, he said, looking at the girls with a smile. At that the girls blushed a little but felt bad for their boyfriend, so without anything to say they just decided to continue caring for him. In another place. Sick, how disgusting you are, how disgusting you are. Then a notification arrives on his cell phone. The famous YouTuber Dylantero was seen in Japan. Sources say it's because he was accepted into the famous Heroes UA school. He laughed a little. He's in Japan at Dylantero. You thought you could escape the controversy. Nobody escapes the controversy. Nobody will escape from dollars, he said with a crazy smile. Siri, by the flight to Japan in 3 months I need to prepare. Siri, understood, buying button fabric 3 times. Dollars? No, you know, don't do anything, I'll buy it myself. Get ready Dylan, I'll end your career, he said, laughing. With Izuku. The green-haired boy was watching a movie with the girls, enjoying the quiet afternoon, but not everything can be peaceful. Bakugo, let's drink, he said, entering with all enthusiasm with Shoto. But then he sees how the girls hug the green-haired boy possessively, enclosing him. Shoto, let's see, what happened? He said, surprised. Yui, we won't let him go out drinking with you. Ibara, they are a bad influence for the baby, she said angrily. Bakugo, if you know that when we refer to drinking it is going out to drink coffee while we read a book and share experiences with friends, he said, taking a drop of sweat from the two boys. Kinoko, oh, if that's the case then you can go, Izuku, but you have to come back before nightfall, she said with an aura of terror just like all the girls. Izuku, why yes thank you, he said with some fear, to start walking with Shoto and Bakugo. How did they believe that? Bakugo, no way, idiot, just walk, he said, this one also with fear. After walking for a while, they went quite far from the academy until they reached a bar with nothing more to lose. They began to drink. Bakugo, and it doesn't bother you that they kill you if they see you hugging poles? He said, downplaying it. Izuku, let the Awioneo worry about the future me, he said, laughing. Shoto, well then aren't we going to meet Kanchazamare tonight? He said, confused. Izuku, if they don't kill me then, he said, smiling. Bakugo, well, you're screwed, dude, he said, drinking another beer. Izuku, I bucked your old lady. Bakugo. After that the two boys laughed and continued their tea party. After a while the two of them carried the green-haired boy since he was the drunkest until they got to the academy. They weren't stupid, they left the green-haired boy in front of the door. They wouldn't face the fury of their girlfriends. Ibara, and where is this one? She said, already worried. Kinoko, we gave him an exact time and look, it's already been 2 hours, she said, somewhat upset. Kendo, when he comes back we will give him a punishment. He said this so that all the girls agreed. But then everyone sees Vlad coming down the stairs with his report already done. He said goodbye to everyone and opened the door only to find the green-haired boy. Vlad, what is Midoriya doing lying here? He said, confused. At that moment all the girls ran out to see the green-haired boy and they got worried, but he spoke. Izuku, and what does that interest you, you old bastard? This annoying guy said. Vlad, look, I'll let you go, because I was young too, but you're going to turn into an alcoholic, this annoying guy said. Izuku, don't tell me what to do, you old bastard, he said, standing up and trying to hit Vlad, but he fell to the ground again because he was so drunk. Vlad, just take it away, this annoying sigh. Then the girls agreed and Reiko made the green-haired boy float. When they reached Kendo's room they put him in a tub of ice-cold water and let him fall with force. Izuku, what happened? He screamed, scared while breathing heavily. Ibara, Izuku, she said with a pout and an aura of pain like all the girls. Izuku, for Buck's sake. In another place. These photos will be very useful to Dallas Sendo, he replied. Dallas, thanks Mineta, they will be very useful to me. Mineta, you're welcome bro, you're welcome, he said with a superior smile. What nobody knew, a fight was about to approach what awaits our Chilean friend, now beaten by his 7 girlfriends. We don't know, find out in the next chapter of Izuku Dylantero, laughing face. The last piece. Somewhere. This idiot made a video of me, how I hate him, he said while hitting his pillow. Your phone rings. Hello? Dallas, Wendy, how are you? Wendy, hi Dallas, what's up? Dallas, guess what I just found out. Wendy, what? Dallas, Dylantero is in Japan, studying in one of the best schools, one of the most expensive, while his country is in an economic crisis. Wendy, you think that? Dallas, yes, we have to go, defeat him, and then end his career. Wendy, but they might sue us if we hit him. Dallas, and if he doesn't find out? After we defeat him we'll threaten him not to say anything and… Wendy, he deletes his channel, and his followers come to ours thinking that we were right. You're a genius. Dallas, we will go to Japan in 3 months. Wendy, understood, see you in 3 months, she said to hang up. So in Japan at Dylan? She said with a somewhat macabre smile. Wendy's right breast is seen growing immeasurably, and hitting the wall, leaving a large hole in it. Wendy, I'll end your career. Douglas, let me sleep, he said from his upstairs so Wendy would shut up. Wendy, very soon, she said in a whisper, looking at her mural with photos of Izuku marked between red circles with strong words written on them. Above. Izuku, what's wrong, dude? he said, confused, through the screen. Douglas, no, it's just that this crazy old lady just laughs and screams, so what kind of friend can I get? He said, smiling. Izuku, oh sure, in 3 months we will have 2 weeks of rest. You can come during that time, he said, smiling through the screen. Douglas, okay, baby with a doll. Izuku/Douglas, AH. With Dallas. Dallas, you took my fame, you took what was mine, but now, I will end your career, I will end you, Izuku Midoriya. Juan, shut up. Izuku, what the hell, you bastard? Juan, a guy who only spends his time here on the ground floor yelling. Douglas, what's the deal? We have the same neighbors, he said, starting to laugh. Juan, hey kid, I want to go to Japan too. How much does it cost to go to Japan? This confused guy said. Izuku, the truth is it's cheap, dude, come here too, he said, laughing while they were playing. Juan, I'll go to Chile with Douglas, let me know, kid. Douglas, there you go, another baby. Izuku, Douglas, Juan, they shouted in fear. With Izuku. He was playing with his 2 friends while the girls were in his bed talking about girl stuff until someone came up with an idea. Setsuna, Izuku. Izuku, what's wrong, Setsuna? He said, confused. Setsuna, are you live? She said, confused. Izuku, yes, but give me about 2 more hours and I'll finish, he said, smiling, but it wasn't noticeable because of the mask. Setsuna, great, you know what we can do, right? She said with a smile. Ibara, no, what? She said, confused. Then Setsuna brings her 2 fingers in a circle to her mouth and puts her tongue between them. The girls blushed when they understood what Setsuna wanted to imply. Yui, don't you think I might have problems with that? She said, confused but somewhat anxious. Setsuna, if the camera doesn't see it, there's no problem, she said with a flirtatious smile. Kendo, I'll be the first, she said, blushing so everyone could nod. So Kendo silently crawled over to the green-haired boy and got under his desk. Izuku, so you're coming to visit me, he said, writing a little when he felt something in his lower part. Douglas, are you okay? He said, confused. Izuku, yes, I'm a jewel, he said, trying to remain calm, thanking the mask that covered his face. What was happening was that Kendo was licking the green-haired boy's penis under the desk while he was playing. When he saw that Izuku didn't say anything, he felt freer and started doing it with more force, causing the green-haired boy to squirm a little more. Juan, what's the deal, my friend? It seems like you're being given to. Juan/Douglas, no way, they said, understanding what was happening. Juan, idle. Douglas, this man, he said, laughing. Donation. What's going on? Someone explain this to me. Izuku, hey Carlos, thanks for the donation, dude, and nothing's wrong, he said, twisting a little more. A few moments passed. The girls watched with amusement, and a little excited as the green-haired boy tried to stand firm against what Kendo was doing, and Setsuna was not far behind. She separated her mouth from the rest of her face and sent it towards the green-haired boy. The green-haired boy felt like another lick apart from Kendo's and felt like he was about to come. Izuku, come on girls, he quickly covered her mouth upon hearing what she said. John/Douglas. All chat, surprised face. All female chat 0. Douglas, idle, he's starting to clap. Izuku, and no, it's what it seems, he said, but he wrote when he felt himself coming. The girls decided not to spill anything on the floor between Kendo and Setsuna. The other girls decided that later they would do it with the green-haired boy. Setsuna, perfect, she said, returning her mouth to its place, and Kendo crawled back to the bed. The green-haired boy just looked at them for a moment, and with a mocking smile they just laughed a little. Izuku, I'll get my revenge later, you jerk, he said, this to continue playing. After an hour the green-haired man finished and the girls were still lying on his bed waiting for him to finish. He turned off his computer and got up from his chair. He went to the girls and simply lay down on Reiko's breasts. Izuku, I said I would get revenge, but I want to sleep, he said, settling into these. Reiko, with a smile, just slightly lifted the green-haired boy's head, lifted her blouse and her bra so that the green-haired boy could sleep more comfortably on her bare breasts. So with a smile she just began to caress her hair while all the girls snuggled up to him. Izuku, I love you, he said this to fall asleep while all the girls smiled and slowly closed their eyes. Fame brings problems. Dollars, I'll finish you off. And many. Windy, agitation, she said while her breasts grew and destroyed a tree. One would think that it only brings happiness and friends. Juan, I want to see that kid now. And if it's true, it brings a lot. Douglas, top watermelons. But it brings enemies that will be difficult to defeat, but not impossible. Something strange end. 3 months had passed, 3 months where the green-haired boy had made his relationship with the girls even stronger. They even made it public. At first they took it strange, but hey, love is love. In these 3 months Windy and Dallas had also spent their time training to be able to finish off Izuku and the green-haired boy. Well, everything was normal. Nothing interesting had happened with him. He was simply happy and calm with his girlfriends. The green-haired boy was getting ready to go bring his 2 friends to the airport, as well as the girls since they would accompany him. Yui, so what are your friends like, honey? She asked while Izuku was fixing her hair. All the girls looked at their hair in a hand mirror. The green-haired boy had a talent for styling hair, they wouldn't deny it. Izuku, sigh, this one is very rude and well the other, let's say that mentally he is not in his best state, he said this one with a touch of grace. Ibra, well, we're already used to you, she said with a touch of grace. Izuku, oh? Are you calling me crazy? This sad man said. Kendo, a little bit yes, he said while caressing the green-haired boy's hair. So the green-haired boy just curled up in a corner and started mumbling things about girlfriends who insulted him and didn't respect him. Ibra, okay, honey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, okay, he said, caressing the green-haired boy's hair while hugging him. Izuku, you called me crazy, you're what, I don't love you anymore, turururu. The girls' sweat dropped as they heard the green-haired boy sing, and Ibra, with a few light laughs, just carried him with her vines and held him close to her. Ibra, well, let's go to the airport, she said smiling. Izuku, is it necessary to go like this? He said somewhat nervously. Yui, yes, everyone must know that you belong to us. All, and that they shouldn't get close to you, they all said with an aura of pain behind them. Izuku, oh okay, he said, somewhat scared. Reiko, okay, let's go, she said this so that everyone would nod. So everyone took their things and left. When they got off, all the boys looked at the green-haired boy with pity as he was stuck to Ibra with his vines, but they wouldn't say anything. They're not stupid, and so, our group headed towards the airport. When they arrived, the first thing they saw were the 2 boys laughing in the distance at how the green-haired boy was coming. Then they approached him and began to bother him. Juan, hey Douglas, don't you see Dylan over there? He said, pretending to look for something. Izuku, come on, you bastard, don't be like that, he said, somewhat annoyed. Douglas, not you, I only see a dog, he said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, wait, did I understand Chilean yet or not? The girls just shrugged their shoulders as they didn't understand what the green-haired boy said. Izuku, they told me to be their boyfriend, damn it, and who would refuse? And this thing turned out to be a yandere, do you understand? He said so that the 2 of them would nod in understanding. Douglas, gosh, poor little faggot that you are, he said mockingly. Juan, ha, Ari is enough for me, you idiot, I'm going to have to put up with so many girls, he said this so that the 3 of them could laugh. Izuku, what a tremendous flight Pawion, he said laughing. Juan, well then where the hell are we going to stay? This confused man said. Douglas, Mariko, it's true, you didn't say where to stay, he said, scratching the back of his neck. Izuku, come on, well, there's no way around it, dude. Let's go to where I live for a while and then we'll find a hotel, he said so that the 2 of them would nod. Honey, can you let me go? Ibra, no, the girls at the airport see you. Kinoko, and you are ours, do you understand? She said with a cold look just like everyone else. Douglas/Juan, oh my god, they said, frightened when they saw them. Izuku, you get used to it, okay, dude, let's go, he said this so that the girls began to walk with Izuku in the Ibra vines while Juan and Douglas followed him, trying not to laugh at Izuku while he was somewhat annoyed and just looked at them. They walked for a while until they reached the bedrooms. The girls, Izuku, Juan and Douglas entered. Monoma, what? It's the Captain Broer, he said excitedly, running towards Juan. Brother, Can you give me a photo? He said, smiling. Juan, hey, they know me in Japan, that's cool, bro, he said, hugging Monoma by the neck to take a photo with his cell phone. Monoma, brother, why didn't you tell me that you knew Juan Garnizo? He said excitedly. Izuku, well, you didn't ask me, he said, shrugging his shoulders. Juan, okay, but that doesn't matter. I'm really hungry. An explosion was heard. Holy crap, said this annoying guy. Everyone scared, some worried and others upset, went outside to see the explosion, and a grimace of disgust formed on the three boys. Juan, bucket this, annoying guy said. Windy, oh, the corrupt one? She said with a slight smile. Dallas, hello Midoriya, he said while walking calmly with a slight smile. Douglas, to the mother faggot. A battle was about to begin. Everyone saw how Windy made her breasts grow to the delight of some boys, but not Izuku. He was on guard, and he was not the only one. Juan and Douglas would also help him, but everyone saw in confusion how some portals opened and swallowed Dallas and Windy to disappear. The three boys were confused, but then they saw how several screens began to appear around. Everyone was confused since they were on the screens but with different clothes. This confused everyone, but they were more in shock when a portal swallowed only the green-haired boy. Setsuna, Izuku, he said, scared like all the girls. But then they all saw how all the thousands of screens were grouped into just one, and they saw the UA. They saw as if their eyes were the cameras that were recording, but they saw another Izuku, a different Izuku. This one was a little workshop and more robust, and with a ponytail, and they saw how a portal opened above it, and from this portal Izuku fell, the one they knew. Douglas, what the hell is going on, dude? He said, scared. Everyone saw on the screen how the green-haired boy whispered a few words before falling to the ground, the one who looked like him. Multiverse Edition water, he said while a stream of water ran down the green-haired boy so he wouldn't get hurt. Izuku's shit? Who the buck are you, a bastard? He said, scared, standing on guard. Izuku's symphony. I am Izuku Midoriya. I am you, and I need your help to defeat him. Televisa. Tranquility Epilogue. After everything that happened in the events between universes, everything went back to normal, well, as far as possible. Izuku, hey, at least I'm happy, huh? Hey boy, if you like this video don't forget to subscribe. It's free, you bastard, it's free. Damn you, and well, I'm off, wash your ass. Turn off the camera. Izuku, damn you dude, edit this thing. His door slams open. Yui. Izuku. Izuku, Yui, what's wrong with Ona? Yui. Izuku, oh yeah, the translator turns on now. Yes, what's wrong, honey? He asked, smiling. Yui, well, I found out that the new Avenger movie is coming out today, and I wanted to know if. Yui couldn't finish speaking because the green-haired boy came out of his closet at full speed in a Thor costume carrying the black-haired girl, making her blush a little. Izuku, I'm still worthy of carrying you, he said while kissing the black-haired girl. Yui, but you will always be worthy, she said, this redhead but playing along. Izuku, I love you. Yui, me too, honey. Izuku, well, put Yui down. I think it would be a good idea to go to the movies. Being in the third year is really exhausting, he said, laughing just like Yui. Yui, well, let's go. The others are already waiting downstairs. Izuku, wait a minute, how did they know I was going to say yes? Yui, well, it's just that why you always want to make them happy, and I thought that. Izuku, okay, but I'll get my reward later, he said, smiling as he began to massage Yui's. But you know what? I changed my mind. The green-haired boy began to kiss the black-haired girl more intensely as he began to put his hand under her panties. Yui, a quick one? She asked, blushing. Izuku, of course, dude. They went down with their clothes somewhat disheveled. Yui blushed, and the green-haired boy with lipstick marks all over his neck that he covered with a scarf. The girls, seeing them, were confused but decided not to pay attention to it, and simply headed towards the cinema. Well, the technique of using Ibera's vines to mark the green-haired boy as their property was necessarily important so that the girls on the street would not approach him. They arrived at the cinema, and the movie went by very calmly. Well, the emotion of the scenes, and just as they arrived, they returned, although now the green-haired boy was the one carrying all the girls with the help of his flames that did not burn. They arrived at the bedrooms. It was already night, and everyone was sleeping. The green-haired boy was going to do the same, but when he got to Kendo's room he couldn't react when they pulled him towards it and locked the door. Izuku, why am I not surprised, he said this one with grace. Kendo, tonight you will be our Aizu. All the girls jumped on the green-haired boy and started kissing him all over. Pony was the fastest, and started unbuttoning the green-haired boy's pants. Izuku, wait, you hitch and the passion? I'm not that easy, you hitch. Ibra, we don't understand anything you're saying. Kinoko, but that doesn't take away our right to enjoy you tonight. They began to kiss him harder while leaving hickeys on his neck and different parts of his body with no intention of stopping. But the green-haired boy just smiled. He liked to see his girlfriends when they were possessive. It was something tend after so many fights. After a universal trip that he still isn't sure if it was real or just something he got into after so much. At last he has peace.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.